It's kind of rare to look for, and actually, what was before about something you don't represent way. Actually, that's
okay, about 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes.
Enclosure was just literal. Somebody, I mean, you think about whoever had the idea.
That's something that I was going to say. And I think in this context,
there you go. So,
which was about like the space that I'm not
the shift that's supposed to be willing to take, allowing their values, time values, the same as the they are, is a shift that involves their understanding that they have by labor being
values and so forth, and how those kind of goals like stipulate, and set of values and the model.
So I guess
to address whatever supposed to
again, I don't think it should.
And I mean, I don't know, there's definitely like a complexity. So like, I think that really was today when I identified those needs. I mean, in addition, I think the world was trying to address, identifying those in a more holistic approach in a less hierarchical way, not so like, I guess,
have a right to decide, you have a right to
community development
And there's some values she likes.
It's not looking at again, it's like hierarchy, like, okay, well, this can be, so in a way where this can be accessed, but where the values are being, developed and I don't know, I'm not sure.
I think those particularly what I realized about you, I need to get it. So, sure, I'm going to tell you that this seems to spark us in the eye. It's like, okay, you get it? Let's talk. Yeah, it's like what I tell envisioning you shaking down and right side into and so that was which would be sort of get it what they're getting we did forget to make an example of work. So maybe that's the question. I guess we can say right around the time of and so all sorts of people would sort of play all their uses of social media. That may not be what they're all doing now, but that was their Russian Russian expression which means something that is held in public belongs to no one. And I said, don't get it. And she said, well, for example, she said, those bathrooms down the hall, we were here this night here. So those bathrooms down the hall, we go to them, they're disgusting, right?
Okay, let's come back. Let's come back. All right. So maybe my idea that this would be an easier conversation might have been false. No, might have been wrong about that. So I'm not going to go around and we're not going to report back like we did before as much as I want to kind of just ask you to kind of say, in terms of the nonprofit that you focus on at your table, what did you learn by kind of thinking about your mission, your work, what you do through a commons lens? Are you already completely copacetic with the commons and you feel really good about it? Are there ways that it would change how you do things if you really applied a commons frame? What did you learn kind of by doing this exercise, but trying to be, as specific as possible? Anybody want to share something? Or I'll have to call on you. That's it. All right, very good.
So what we had is, we were really confused on what the question was, what we were supposed to be applying to, but we chose churches as.
Oh, you just chose, okay. Are any of you involved in church? Okay.
So we're looking at these things that it promotes, and we're wondering if the question was, what's most important to us is not, how's our mission making more commons related? How can we take a church and make it more commons?
Okay, good.
And we got into, it was a pretty interesting conversation. I don't know if it's anything to do with what you're asking. So we're looking to be, rough social equity, create a society in which it is easy to be good. And right away, there was a church that's kind of a problem because the church teaches morality, but they also decide what that morality is. And for every rule they make up, or for every law that's based on that rule, you're going to create people who break that rule and they're bad. So there was a lot of, there were some difficult questions about how the church goes about the enclosure, the focus of the church, and overlap between different denominations, things like that. The way that the church's interpretation of text or whatever can enclose upon that would be good.
Well, would you say, like, in general, I mean, obviously there might be some churches that would be exceptions to this in the way that they deal with people and so on, but would you say in general that in your group you might have said churches are not part of the commons because they don't create a society in which it's easy to be good? I mean, you don't have to go that far, but you could just nod a little bit like, yeah.
What our group for that?
No, I think that was part of it. And churches are privileged because they don't pay property tax. One of the questions we came up with was how much would it raise the revenue of the city of Detroit when the churches pay tax?
So you have these organizations, churches, religious organizations are 1/3 of all nonprofits. So they are a huge, and the dominant form of religion we have in the United States is the church. So churches are the dominant, churches get about 1/3 of all the money that's given away in the private sector, and they are 1/3 of all, and all religions are 1/3 of all nonprofits. And they receive enormous tax benefits. Property tax we're talking about, gifts are tax deductible. Also, churches are far less scrutinized. Anybody else? Churches are not required to file 990s, for example, because of the separation of church and state. All other nonprofits, unless your budget is under $25,000, all other nonprofits have to file a 990. You can have these enormous churches, not at all indicating where do they get their money or anything like that because of some other historical thing. So it is interesting. Are they de facto in the commons? Are they de facto? And this wouldn't mean any particular church might try to be against this. It's not a bragging on any particular church, but are they actually not in the commons? They're part of an enclosure automatically by who they are. Interesting conversation. Were you surprised where the conversation went? Yeah. And that's what to me is so great about these conversations. All of a sudden you're in a whole different place. Well, I didn't even know I thought that. I wouldn't even. If I heard somebody say that, I'd be like, I can't be right. But all of a sudden you're struggling with it. Very good. Any questions for that group?
It's just the conversation you just had took me back to when you were talking about Buffett. Not that he's a bad person, but it's created, the system.